The Hays Production Code policed American films for sexual content, language, violence from 1934 to 1968. This video explores 10 films that challenged these moral standards and were initially banned. All were later released with extensive cuts to the film to appease regulators. So here we go. The top 10 classic movies that were too scandalous to be released and were banned. 1. Ecstasy, 1933. Due to nudity and sexual content, this film was banned. Ecstasy faced censorship for two main scenes: Hedy Lamarr's character swimming completely nude and a scene depicting her character's sexual climax. The swimming scene was cut entirely because of its nudity. The climax scene, groundbreaking for being possibly the first non-pornographic film to portray sexual climax, was cut for its explicit depiction of sexual pleasure. 2. Babyface, 1933. In Babyface, several of Barbara Stanwyck's seduction scenes were either cut or heavily edited. One notable scene showed her character seducing a bank manager, blatantly using her sexuality and suggesting sex for career advancement. This scene was significantly shortened to reduce its suggestiveness. 3. Baby Doll, 1956. Elia Kazan's racy Baby Doll is a controversial film showcasing an oversexed young woman inadvertently attracting a middle-aged man. The film originally included a scene where the adult female lead is shown provocatively sucking her thumb in a crib. This scene, suggesting pedophilia, was cut to avoid overtly sexualizing a childlike character. The film was also banned in several countries due to its exaggerated amount of sexual content. 4. The Outlaw, 1943. In The Outlaw, a scene in a barn where Jane Russell's character's clothing is torn, revealing her cleavage, was edited. The original scene lingered on her exposed bust, but censors said it lingered too long on her exposed bust, so the film was altered to focus on her face instead. Director Howard Hughes even designed a special cantilevered underwire bra to accentuate Russell's bust. The Code Office demanded cuts, and Hughes reluctantly removed about 40 feet, approximately a half-minute of footage that prominently featured Russell's bust. Despite these edits, 20th Century Fox wished to cancel its agreement to release The Outlaw as a result. 5. The Postman Always Rings Twice, 1946. A significant scene that was cut from the film involved the lead characters, Lana Turner and John Garfield, engaging in a suggestive interaction at a kitchen table, implying their desires for sex. This scene was cut for its explicit portrayal of adultery and explicit sexual tension. Sexual tension was more implied rather than acted out. Also, the book acted out sadomasochistic sexual tendencies. The film omits a graphic scene where Frank, at Cora's request, bites her lips to the point of blood dripping down her neck. 6. The Moon is Blue, 1953. This film was controversial for its time due to its frank dialogue about sex. The film was notable for using words like virgin, mistress, and seduce that were considered daring and provocative given the era's standards. Remarkably, The Moon is Blue was released without the approval of the Production Code Administration, PCA. 7. A Streetcar Named Desire, 1951. A pivotal scene in A Streetcar Named Desire depicting the implied rape of Blanche by Stanley was significantly edited. The original scene was much more explicit in portraying a sexual assault, which was toned down to be more ambiguous and controlled. Also, the film omitted the explicit reference to the homosexuality of Blanche Dubois' young husband, as well as much about her backstory, which included seducing a 17-year-old boy and engaging in prostitution. 8. Lolita, 1962. In the quintessential film of forbidden love Lolita, a scene in a hotel room where an older man named Humbert has a sexual obsession with Lolita, a teenager, in a clear and overt call for sexual intimacy, was heavily edited. The original scene had much more explicit dialogue and physical interaction between the characters, which was toned down to suggest a more friendly relationship, even comical, but not too sexual in nature. Lolita's clothing in the film was also made less provocative. Despite these modifications, the Catholic Legion of Decency condemned the film for offering unrelieved sexual depravity. Consequently, even if further edits were made before its release, the seduction scene had to be cut more, and restrictions were placed on the audience, with no one under the age of 18 being admitted. 9. A Clockwork Orange, 1971. Directed by Stanley Kubrick, A Clockwork Orange is a dystopian crime film based on Anthony Burgess's novel. The film follows the story of Alex DeLarge, a charismatic and violent young man in a near-future society. Due to its explicit violence and themes of sexual deviancy, the film faced significant controversy upon release. In the United Kingdom, it was withdrawn from circulation by Kubrick himself in response to concerns over copycat crimes. It remained banned until Kubrick's death in 1999. It was also banned in the United States in Oklahoma City, Utah, Dallas, and faced viewing restrictions in many other cities. 10. The Blue Angel, 1930. Directed by Josef von Sternberg, The Blue Angel is a German film that explores the themes such as desire, obsession, and the destructive power of love. Marlene Dietrich rocketed to fame from Object of Desire performance. For the film to be released in Germany, it had to undergo significant edits to pass the censorship boards, and then it made its way to the US and the United States, required even more changes. When the movie was finally released, it was a big commercial success. So there you have it. 10 films that were banned, leading to edits and cuts required so the films could be released under the Hays Code. The obvious tension between creative freedom and imposed moral standards created a serious conflict between filmmakers and regulators until 1968, when the production code was revised into a rating system.